So let's talk about the Beacon Retirement Blueprint. We refer to this in our firm to 5 pillars. There's really 5 key pillars that we want to walk a client through that are really super impactful to you and your retirement. So these 5 pillars, they're really a must for you to have peace of mind in retirement, and the kind of retirement that you've worked for 30 or 40 years. Now, where do they start? Well, the first pillar, the foundation of your retirement, is income. You know, if you look at surveys today, 83% of people in retirement, according to a lot of surveys, live in the fear of not having enough income or outliving their income. We simply think that's wrong. You know, the boomers, 70 million strong now, are retiring at about $10,000 a day, and their parents never worried about income because they had Social Security that got a cost of living adjustment and pensions. And pensions in America today, in large part, have gone away. So what's your plan for income so that when the market is up or down, you're not sitting at home in this 83% that's worried about income? If you think about it, when you worked and you had a job, you didn't worry about income because you were getting a paycheck. Why would you want less in retirement? That really can happen for you and your family. So how do we do that? We maximize Social Security. And there's over 2,800 rules and regulations. How do you get the most out of that, not entitlement program, but asset? Next, if you have a pension, we want to maximize pension choices. And then if you're like most Americans and you're left with what's called an income gap, we want to fill that income gap with guarantees. What's an income gap? Well, if your standard of living is $6,000 a month and Social Security and a small pension brings you $4,000 a month, you have a $2,000 a month income gap to support your lifestyle. Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to wonder where that money's coming from in retirement. Just like my working years, when I got a paycheck, I want to get a paycheck in retirement so that I know my standard of living is supported no matter how long I live. You should have a written income plan. That's the first pillar. Now, the second pillar is an investment plan. And by nature of what Beacon Capital Management does is we're financial planners. We do investments. It's referred to as a wealth plan as well. But, you know, people will come to our office and they'll say, well, I like this investment, or I don't like this investment, and what are your thoughts? I like all investments because really and truly investments are just tools, and there's thousands of them. Investments become wrong or they don't fit into situations when they're not built around who you are personally, what your goals and objectives are. Everyone at Beacon Capital Management that's a client has a custom wealth plan or investment plan. How much risk do you want to take? What's your risk tolerance? You know, how much income do you need to fill those income gaps? All of that and many more things should be built into a customized, personalized investment plan or a wealth plan for you and your family. That's the second pillar. Now, the third pillar is one that a lot of people in our industry avoid, and that is a tax plan. Well, John, I'm retired. I really don't have any control over taxes. Hey folks, nothing could be further from the truth. I truly believe that retirement represents a time in your life where you have more control over how and when you pay taxes, but yet people do less planning. Now, why is that? Typically, their house is paid off, or in many cases, they take the standard deduction, they've got money in IRAs, and they think, what can I really do about taxes? Well, you can't avoid them, but you can reduce them. A lot of it has to do with your view on taxes and how you look at them. So, for example, people have walked into our office and say, John, I've done really well, I've got $1 million in an IRA. That's true. If you've saved $1 million in an IRA, you've done really, really well. Now, I'm not saying you shouldn't have an IRA, but the good news about that is you have $1 million. The bad news is it's not all yours, because as you take money out of that, you have to pay your business partner, and your business partner on your IRAs, when you start to take that out for income or travel or the things you've worked so hard for, is the IRS. And the IRS is a lifelong greedy business partner that you really and truly cannot disinherit, but you can substantially reduce. And if that's true, and it is, if you could reduce your tax burden and keep more of that money in your pocket, what would that be worth to you and your family over 20 or 30 years of retirement? For most folks, it'd be worth a lot. So the fourth pillar is a healthcare plan, which is also very underutilized in many cases. People say, well, is that long-term care or Medicare? No, it's all of those things, but it's also understanding that people are living longer and in some cases not necessarily better. Healthcare advancements has allowed people to live in many cases longer in their retirement years than they did in their working years. Statistics and studies say that most people need to budget outside of long-term care and Medicare about $150,000 to $250,000 of additional costs for healthcare. Have you done that budget? Has your financial advisor shown you how that's possible to protect you and your family? We think that is a key piece at this stage of your life, to have a healthcare plan, which is why we have a healthcare pillar. The final pillar is an estate plan. We have an estate attorney on our team, and according to Ryan, 65% of people in America have worked hard their entire life, just like you, 30 years, 40 years. They've built an estate and saved money and have real estate assets or other things, and they have no formal estate plan. Now, I'm not an attorney, and I don't know if you need a will or a trust or those ancillary documents like powers of attorneys, but I know you need one or the other. So are you in the 65% that's worked hard your entire life, but you haven't done estate documents? Many times I've been asked, why do you think people don't plan for that? Well, I don't think it's because people don't want to or they don't care. I just think life gets busy. And that's one of the things about Beacon that we always wanted to be to the people we're honored to work with, is a one-stop shop where you can get all 5 of these pillars and solid answers for you and your family under one roof. So as you think about these 5 pillars, these key areas of your retirement life, how confident are you in them? Do you have a written income plan? Could you walk into my office today and say, John, regardless of whether the market is up 20% or down 20%, I know where my income's going to come from? Could you walk into my office and show me the custom catered investment plan or wealth plan for you and your family based on your specific goals and objectives, not your advisor's goals and objectives or your neighbor's, but yours? Have you looked at taxes? This is such a powerful pillar where you can influence how much money you pay the IRS. Now, you will pay taxes, but if you could keep more of that money that you've worked so hard for in your pocket working for you and your family, when would you want to get started on that? The 4th pillar, a healthcare pillar. Healthcare costs are going up astronomically. So many people worry about that. Do you have a plan for that? You can have a plan for that. You should have a plan for that. And then finally, the estate pillar or the legacy pillar. You know, it'd be a real shame for you to work your entire life as hard as you have worked and then not protect everything inside of your estate. So these 5 pillars are really, really key. We would be super honored to sit down and visit with you and your family and to go over these and to show you how they can come to life for you and your family and for how hard you've worked over your lifetime. All you have to do to get this information free of charge is give us a call, 615-488-3039. Well, thanks for listening today, and for more great information like this, just click the subscribe button below.